Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal. Patch 10.1 is finally here, bringing with it a ton of new updates to the Dragon Isles. Embers of Neltharion is a major content update filled with new seasonal content like a new raid of Aberrus, new Season 2 set of dungeons, and Season 2 PvP updates. We also get to venture into the new zone of Zaralak Caverns, filled with new treasures and even more challenges. Defend against the Primalist assaults and challenge Farak in Azure Span and Onaran Plains, and customize our characters with brand new cosmetic options. Patch 10.1 also brings with it a ton of class changes, which will affect how your favorite playstyle will perform in both PvE and PvP content. And today I wanted to go over all of the class changes coming with 10.1 and break down how every single class is looking to evolve heading into Embers of Neltharion. But right before that, most of you guys watching these update videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you are mine, the more of you do, so let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you want to get more regular content regarding all of the newest Dragonflight updates and changes going forward. First, before we get into any specific class adjustments, I want to go over the global changes that will affect every playstyle in Dragonflight. First, the stat of Leech found on gear has been nerfed by 25%. This means that the numerical value of Leech has been depreciated. Leech gain from talents remains the same, so classes like Demon Hunters retain a lot of their survivability, but healers will gain less value from having a full set of gear with Leech in raids and dungeons. Next, stamina has been globally increased by 25%, and the damage of monsters in the open world, raids, and dungeons has been increased by the same amount. This is another change which will affect healers in PvE content. Increasing players' health and tuning enemy abilities by the same amount gives healers more time to react to incoming damage and make appropriate decisions regarding their mana, as well as the use of cooldowns, which results in a smoother overall gameplay. All tank and DPS classes should feel less affected by this change since their survival and group healing tools have been increased to compensate. Now let's go over all of the class changes and how their playstyles are looking to evolve in the patch 10.1, starting with the stalwart Death Knight. Blood Death Knights embrace their vampiric origins, with a tier set which empowers them with vampiric blood. The 4-set bonus helps increase their offensive power, while the talent of Umbilicus Aeternus greatly increases the defensive synergy. Frost Death Knights gain the ability to command the skies, raining down ice storms upon their foes with frost forms every time they invoke Pillar of Frost. Doing so causes enemies to become more brittle, making them more vulnerable to critical strikes, which supports a crit-oriented playstyle. Unholy Death Knight's tier set causes them to gain additional mastery through Death Coils, Epidemic, as well as by summoning the Undead Horde. Transforming your primary goal causes you to unleash your mastery, greatly increasing your damage output. Besides your tier set, Unholy has also gained additional buffs to support less utilized talents like Reaping, Clawing Shadows, and Festering Wound talent synergies. Havoc Demon Hunter's tier set is fueled by Fury. Spending Fury causes you to gain Seething Fury, increasing your agility and the damage of your next I-Beam by 15% per stack. Havoc has also gained additional support in single target from simple ability increases to Demon Blades, Chaos Strikes, and Fell Blade. Serrated Glaive makes your targets more vulnerable to Chaos Strikes, and Accelerated Blade becomes more effective against a singular target. Vengeance Demon Hunter's tier set embraces the Fellfire, where ripping and consuming souls from foes builds a buff which erupts into a fiery brand, which gains additional talent synergies. Balanced Druids see a transfer of power, where a portion of the Vault of the Incarnate's tier set becomes baseline, increasing the damage of Star Surge, Starfall, Wrath, as well as talents like Power of Goldrun and Denizens of the Dream. Their new tier set increases the value of periodic effects and causes shooting star procs to sometimes deal additional damage and generate more astral power. A new talent of Wild Surges competes with Stellar Flare, empowering your solar and lunar filler abilities. To keep Balanced Druids mobile, your dots and certain talented passives will now generate additional astral power. Starfire sees an AoE soft cap, reducing its effectiveness beyond a target, which limits Druid's power in large combat encounters. Finally, capstone traits of Friend of the Fairy as well as Radiant Moonlight have been greatly empowered. Feral Druids gain access to a passive tier set, which helps with combat resources. Auto-attacking your target can build stacks of Shadows of the Predator, increasing your agility. When Predator goes over 5 stacks, it has a chance to be consumed, increasing your agility while generating common points every few seconds. Feral Druids also get a reworked version of Berserk. The new Berserk causes you to generate common points rapidly and can help you store up to 3 common points over the cap, meaning that there's less pressure from over-generating on resources. Ferals also gain a new talent of Thrashing Claws, which competes with Merciless Claws, increasing the damage of Shred and causing it to apply Thrash for free. The damage of most Feral abilities from Shred, Rake, and Moonfire with Lunar Inspiration has seen a decent increase. The AoE damage of Swipe, Thrash, and Brutal Slash has seen similar treatment, with talents like Wild Slashes further increased. Lesser used talents like Blood Talents now enhance 3 of your next finishers instead of 2. Even the damage of Rip has been buffed for single target through Dreadful Bleeding, though its AoE value with Tear Open Wounds has been reduced to compensate. Guardian Druids primarily gain their new tier set bonus, which passively increases resources like Rage, additional damage of Maul, as well as survivability through the HP increase. Guardian Druids can also enjoy their new Werebear combat animations as of the patch 10.1. Restoration Druids will have their new tier set to look forward to, as it increases all of your healing benefits. The Force set is particularly important, as it buffs the value of Flourish and Verdant Infusion, both of which can proc using Convoke, while further increasing your hybrid damage when using Nature's Vigil. Devastation Evoker sees numerous changes in the patch 10.1, as it gets an overhauled talent tree, which focuses on reducing the cost of many gameplay-defining talents while making them much easier to access, and updating the capstones to give them more build specificity. Red magic can become more explosive, while blue magic can gain more precision, and the cooldown reduction of Causality has been changed, which makes using Disintegrate and Pyre a lot less janky. Preservation Evoker tier set empowers the healing value of the green Dragonflight abilities, and increases the resource generation through frequent use of empowerment abilities. Beastmaster Hunter gains a passive tier set, which increases the damage of Cobra Shot and Kill Shot by 15%. Both of these abilities, together with Multi-Shot, help reduce the cooldown of Bestial Wrath by 1 second. Besides this, BM also sees many improvements, mostly to some of their underused talents. Aspect of the Wild causes Cobra Shot to cleave 2 additional targets. Upgrading Aspect with Master Handler increases its cooldown reduction by 4 seconds, while Snakebite increases Cobra damage by 75%. Call of the Wild can be further upgraded with Bloody Frenzy, which causes all of your pets to gain Bestial Cleave for its duration, while causing Cobra Shots to leave a Serpent Sting on target's hit. Marksmanship Hunter's new tier set plays heavily into their Kill Shot gameplay, increasing the procs of Death Blow while empowering Kill Shot damage bonuses. Marksman also sees the resurgence of Windrunner playstyle. Legacy of the Windrunner causes wind arrows to fire with every aim shot. Every 24 arrows allows you to regain a charge of aim shot and 30 focus. Windrunner's Guidance has a chance to empower you with True Shot whenever a wind arrow hits an enemy target, increasing your cooldown uptime. Bombardment has been reworked to proc with Kill Shot, which fits better with the new tier set bonus. And Lethal Shots has been replaced with In the Rhythm, which grants additional haste after fully channeling a rapid fire. Survival has seen a transfer of power in patch 10.1, where the Vault of the Incarnate tier set has been reduced, while the base power of the spec has been increased. Survival Hunters gain an explosive tier set, where the damage of Wildfire Bomb is being increased. Bombs increase the damage of your next kill command, and vice versa, where a command increases the damage of your bomb to that target. Spending Focus also helps reduce the cooldown of Wildfire Bomb by 1 second. The talent of Lunge has also been adjusted and will now reduce the cooldown of Wildfire Bomb with every auto attack by an additional second on top of its original effect. The class of Mage sees all of its 3 available playstyles bolstered, with each spec gaining additional damage output, which should fit well into the current tier set designs. Arcane Mage tier set increases the power of arcane power, while prolonging the burst window way after Arcane Surge has expired. Fire Mage's tier set empowers Phoenix Flames, which leaves your targets more vulnerable. Blasting foes affected by charring embers increases the strength of your next Phoenix Flames, increasing their damage by 200% while refunding their charges. Frost Mage tier set increases the value of Ice Lance and Flurry. Flurry causes a frost explosion, dealing a portion of its damage to nearby targets. The 4 set gives Ice Lances against a frozen target a chance to proc Brain Freeze, which refunds on Flurry charges. Next, we have the class of Monk. All Monk specs gain access to Song of Chi-Ji, which sends out a traveling mist which puts all enemies it passes through to sleep. This talent shares the same choice node as Ring of Peace. Brewmaster's tier set will empower your kicks and the ability to dodge attacks. The 2 set increases the damage of Blackout Kick and causes Elusive Brawler to sometimes not reset when dodging attacks. The 4 set makes it where Rising Sun Kick grants you an additional stack of Elusive Brawler. Dodging enemy attacks increases the damage and crit chance of either Spinning Crane Kick or Rising Sun Kick by 5%, stacking up to 5 times. Mistweavers gain new talent of Chrysalis. Previously a PvP talent, Chrysalis shares a node with Burst of Life, reducing the cooldown of Life Cocoon by 45 seconds. Mistweavers also gain additional support when it comes to their Fistweaver gameplay. The talent of Teachings has been slightly redesigned. Your combat healing is now split evenly amongst 5 nearby targets within 30 yards, which allows the most injured allies to gain more value over fully healthy targets. The cooldown of Phalan Stomp has also been reduced to help ease up the Fistweaver playstyle. Mistweaver's tier set causes Renewing Mist to sometimes empower you with Soul Fang Infusion, which helps regenerate your mana. Anytime you drink tea or gain Soul Fang Infusion, the healing of Renewing Mists and Vivify is increased by 40% for 6 seconds. Windwalker Monk gains single target damage increases, with Tiger Palm and Rising Sun Kick increased by 15%, while Blackout Kick is buffed by 8%. Windwalker tier set increases the damage of Rising Sun Kick and Fists of Fury. Rising Sun damage explodes into a Nova, which deals Shadow Flame damage to nearby targets. Fist of Fury increases the target's vulnerability against your Shadow Flame Nova by 50%. Protection Paladins have recently gained a large lead over every other tank when it comes to PvE content, so patch 10.1 is looking to bring them down in line with everybody else. Passive defensives like Ages of Light see its armor and stamina bonus reduced by 5%, while Righteous Protector's cooldown reduction has become 33% less effective. The defensive value of Sentinel's health increase has been reduced by half for every Sentinel stack. Protection Paladin tier set causes Avenger's Shield and Judgment crits to apply Heartfire to the target, which deals periodic damage while healing you for the same amount. Holy Paladin's Crusader playstyle has gained additional improvements. During Avenging Crusader, your combat healing is greatly increased, with healing further amplified by your proximity mastery. All healing is now evenly split amongst 5 nearby allies within 30 yards, where injured targets gain more value over healthy ones. The Holy Paladin tier set increases the crit healing of Holy Shocks, while empowering your Light's Hammer and Holy Prism with more healing, as well as additional resources. Retribution Paladin tier set increases the damage and crit damage of Judgments and Hammer of Wrath. Hammer of Wrath also applies Greater Judgment debuff. The 4 set increases effectiveness of Greater Judgment and causes Hammer of Wrath to strike 4 nearby targets for a portion of its overall damage. The class of Priest has had its Shadow Word death cooldown reduced to 10 seconds, which provides additional execute value as well as talent synergy. Discipline Priests get a new tier set that increases the damage of Shadow Word Pain and increases healing of Power Word Radiance. Damage and healing abilities have a chance to empower your next Radiance, reducing its mana cost by half while making it instant cast. Holy tier set gives Prayer of Mending a 35% chance to duplicate to a nearby ally. When Prayer of Mending jumps or expires, you increase the value of your next Holy Word spell by 4%, stacking up to 15 times. The spec of Shadow has seen yet another rework in the patch 10.1, with this recent update focusing on reducing the button bloat, replacing Shadow's AoE kit with Psychic Link over Mind Seer, adjusting the basic gameplay flow when it comes to your DPS rotation, updating existing talents and adding new ones to create some build variety, and removing the number of instant casts that a Shadow Priest has access to for PvP, while significantly tuning their damage, making them much stronger. It is recommended for all Shadow Priests to go over their spec talent tree closely to refamiliarize yourself with some of the most recent updates, but generally you'll notice that the cost of certain talent nodes has been reduced. Shadow Crash cooldown is now 20 seconds to make it easier to use in AoE encounters, and the damage of most basic talents and abilities has been increased. The rotation will have less damage procs, resulting in a more stationary playstyle. Each rogue spec has gained additional damage, mostly to certain spec abilities and talents, to bring up their single target performance in the patch 10.1. Assassination Rogue's tier set causes Rupture and Crimson Tempest to deal additional nature damage. When Deathmark expires, you deal 40% nature damage against all targets for 30 seconds, which empowers your poison abilities. Outlaw Rogue tier set causes you to leave a soul rip on the target for a small portion of all of your damage. Between the Eyes unleashes soul rips, causing them to all erupt for 200% of the remaining damage, while granting you 5% more agility. Subtlety tier set 2 set bonus causes Shadow Dance to grant you Symbols of Death for 6 seconds, while extending the duration of Rupture by 4 seconds. While Symbols of Death is active, the critical damage of Eviscerates and Black Powders is increased by 25%. For the entire class of Shaman, the talent of Deeply Rooted Elements should proc a lot more consistently. The mana cost of Bloodlust and Heroism has been greatly decreased, and the Earthgrab totem now has a 30-second cooldown. Elemental Shamans gain additional single target damage with buffs to Lava Burst, Lightning Bolt, Earthshock, and Elemental Blast. Elemental tier set causes you to periodically gain the talent of Stormkeeper. When you spend all Stormkeeper charges, your Maelstrom generation is greatly increased, and your Chain Lightning deals additional crit damage in AoE. Enhancement Shaman has gained more support towards its melee-focused Stormstrike playstyle, with Wind Fury weapon damage increased by 50%. Fire Nova damage has become a Flame Strike damage, which is a mix of fire and physical, which lets it gain additional damage value. Thorum's Invocation build has also grown stronger, with the damage and the Maelstrom refund proc increased for Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning. Enhancement Shaman tier set grants them additional mastery when using Sunder. Sunder also enhances all physical and fire damage, and the next 2 Chain Lightnings cast within a short window. Restoration Shaman tier set causes allies with Riptide to be healed by Tidewater whenever you cast Healing Rain. Each ally healed by Tidewaters increases your healing by 1% for 6 seconds. Your next healing wave, Healing Surge, or Chain Heal is increased based on the number of players affected by Tidewaters. Affliction Warlock's tier set will increase the damage of Vile Taint and Phantom Singularity, while reducing either talent's cooldown, resulting in better uptime. Enemies afflicted by Taint or Singularity take 10% additional damage for their duration. Demonology Warlock tier set increases the damage of Demon Bolt by 15%. Consuming Demonic Core procs helps reduce the cooldown of Grimoire Felguard by 1 second. The 4 set increases the damage of Grimoire Felguard. While it's active, all other demons deal 20% additional damage. Destruction tier set causes Incinerates, Immolates, and Demon Fire to periodically fire Shadow Flame bolts which deal additional damage. Casting Demon Fire, either through the 2 set or Channel Demon Fire, increases your fire damage up to 8%. These stacks do not refresh the debuff duration. Casting Channel Demon Fire resets the duration to its full value. Arms Warriors will automatically refresh Rand against an injured target when using the talent of Bloodletting, and the duration of Fatal Mark has been increased to 3 minutes, which improves the execute value. Arms Warrior tier set buffs Deep Wounds. Enemies afflicted by the bleed are more likely to be crit and take additional crit damage. The 4 set causes Deep Wound crits a chance to empower your next Mortal Strike, causing it to send a shockwave towards all targets in front of you. Fury Warrior 2 set increases the crit chance and crit damage of Rampage by 10%. Each time you Rampage, you empower your next Bloodthirst, increasing its damage, crit chance, and rage generation for every stack. Protection Warriors 2 set reduces the cooldown of Last Stand by 2 seconds every time you Shield Slam. After using Last Stand, your Shield Slams send shockwaves to all targets in front of you, reducing their damage done by 5%. Next, I want to go over the PvP changes coming to our classes, starting with a few global changes which affect every single playstyle. First, critical strike damage and healing has been reduced down to 150% instead of its original 175%. This change will slow down the pacing of PvP, limiting the impact of bursty one-shots and healers' ability to heal an ally fully in a single global. Certain classes which rely on crit damage, like shamans, mages, demon hunters, rogues, and others, have been adjusted with damage increases to help offset the crit reduction. Second, the impact of crowd control has been reduced. All classes will deal with the more standardized crowd control durations. This means durations of interrupts, stuns, incapacitation effects, and disorients have been reduced, resulting in you spending less time unable to play your character. To make sure there's an even playing field, the orc hardiness ratio has been nerfed by 50% within PvP. Third, you can now craft PvP gear through work order system. You will be able to purchase quests of honor and trophies of conquest from honor and conquest vendors. When crafting your custom items, you can imbue them with PvP scaling quality, adjust their secondary stats directly, and even apply precognition effect as a caster, which allows you to better customize your character's items. Death Knights gain 2 new PvP talents. First, Spell Warden has been redesigned. It reduces the cooldown of Anti-Magic Shell by 10 seconds, but also reduces its duration. AMS becomes usable on all friendly targets. Blood-Forged Armor is a new defensive which increases your protection against physical damage whenever you use Death Strike. Unholy Death Knight's reanimation has been redesigned. Zombies summoned can no longer be stopped by the enemy target, though their detonation has a bit of a delay. But the damage has been significantly increased, dealing 20% of their target's health in damage. You can only have 2 charges of reanimation at a maximum. Demon Hunter's Blood Moon PvP talent saw a slight redesign. Consume magic affects all enemies within 8 yards of your target, and generates a lesser soul fragment. Each enemy effect dispelled has a chance to upgrade the soul to a greater fragment. When using Rain from Above, the damage of Fell Lance has been increased to 10% of the target's maximum health in PvP. Next we have the class of Druid. The talent of Master Shapeshifter has been redesigned. All hybrid abilities can now generate your primary form resources, with Astral Power for balance, Rage for bear, and Mana for restoration. Reactive Resin has been redesigned and is now a talent only available to Restoration Druids. Any target that removes the healing over time effects has their movement speed reduced, stacking up to 3 times, and at 3 stacks the enemy is rooted and silenced for 3 seconds. Balanced Druid's Dying Stars PvP talent has also been redesigned, to punish enemies attempting to dispel your dots, by making foes more vulnerable to your dots and even restoring a portion of their duration. Feral Druids gain the talent of Wild Attunement, where after successfully cycloning a target, you're automatically shifted into cat form, and your next bite, rip, or maim within 5 seconds applies Feral Frenzy to your target. Evokers regain the talent of Divide and Conquer, which causes a deep breath to form curtains of fire, preventing enemy line of sight. Enemies passing through the flame walls take fire damage over 6 seconds. Evokers also gain Dreamcatcher, which removes the cooldown from Sleepwalk but slightly increases its cast time. The class of Hunter will find Roar of Sacrifice on the class talent tree, which helps free up a free PvP talent slot. The talent of Interlope has been upgraded, causing the next 3 spells to be redirected to your pet as long as it's nearby. Beast Mastery Dire Basilisk gains 100% more damage to make it more impactful. Marksmanship Hunter's Ranger's Finesse has been redesigned. Casting Aim Shot builds a stack of Ranger's Finesse, and at 3 stacks you can spend them on either a volley, increasing its radius and duration, or Bursting Shot to increase its slow and a knockback distance. Consuming Ranger's Finesse reduces the cooldown of Aspect of the Turtle by 20 seconds. Survival Hunters gain a new PvP talent of Sticky Tar Bombs. Toss a tar bomb that coats your target's weapons with tar, disarming them for 4 seconds. And after 4 seconds the bomb erupts again onto nearby enemies, disarming them also. Mages gain the PvP talent of Master Shepherd. Polymorphing an enemy target will no longer heal them. While a target is polymorphed, your movement speed and versatility is increased. The new PvP talent of Ethereal Blink causes blinks and shimmers to slow the target when blinking past them. Blink and shimmer cooldown is reduced by 1 second per target that you blink through. Arcane Mage's Kleptomania PvP talent has been redesigned. Unleash a flurry of magic, rapidly stealing buffs from the enemy target. Can channel the spell while moving, but the movement speed is reduced by 40%. Fire Mage's PvP talent of World in Flames has been adjusted, where Flame Strike can deal up to 200% additional damage depending on the target's distance from the center of the Flame Strike. Glass Cannon significantly increases the damage of Fireball and Scorch, while becoming less punishing with its health reduction elements. Flame Cannon stacks now accumulate when no player is within 20 yards of your location. Frost Mages gain the new PvP talent of Icy Feet. When Frost Nova or Freeze is dispelled or removed, you become immune to snares for 3 seconds. This effect can only occur every 10 seconds. Frost Bomb damage has been increased by 50%. Dispelling the bomb before it goes off grants you a charge of Brain Freeze. The Brewmaster Monk PvP talent of Incendiary Breath has been baked into Hot Trub, where purifying damage causes Breath of Fire to incapacitate your target. Mistweaver's PvP talent of Fey Accord reduces the cooldown of Fey Line to 10 seconds, and causes Fey Lines to slow the target for 10 seconds. Dome of Mist prevents dispel protection whenever the enemy removes an enveloping mist from your allies. The new talent of Zen Spheres allows monks to conjure 2 spheres. A sphere of hope can be placed on an ally, increasing their healing taken, and a sphere of despair can be placed on an enemy, reducing the damage they do to the Mistweaver and increasing their damage taken. Windwalker monks gain a new PvP talent of Storm Spirit Strikes. Damaging more than one target with Fist of Fury summons a Storm Spirit, who will mimic all attacks and abilities on any secondary target. Paladins get a new PvP talent of Searing Glare, which blinds all targets in front of you, causing them to miss their attacks for 4 seconds. And Holy Paladins Aura Mastery gains double defensive value within PvP. Priests gain a new defensive PvP talent of Phase Shift, which allows them to avoid all attacks and spells for a short time whenever they use Fade. Priests also gain Absolute Faith. Leap of Faith grips up to 3 allies to you and shields all allies affected. Discipline Priest PvP talent of Dome of Light has been baked in baseline, increasing the effectiveness of Power Word Barrier by 100% in PvP. Shadow Priests gain additional PvP damage with Vampiric Touch, Mind Spike, and Mind Flay damage no longer reduced. Rogue's PvP talent of Dagger in the Dark has been redesigned. Each second you are in stealth, nearby enemies take 2% additional damage from you, stacking up to 6 times. The debuff lasts for 10 seconds after you come out of stealth. Veil of Midnight has been redesigned, where Cloak of Shadows can now remove harmful physical effects and grants an increased 100% dodge chance. Maneuverability has also been changed, where the duration and the cooldown of Sprint is reduced by 50%. All Shaman playstyles gain the new PvP talent of Burrow, which causes Shamans to go underground, becoming unattackable. While burrowed, you move quickly and remove movement impairing effects. When burrow ends, you pop back up, spiking all targets above you into the air, dealing physical damage. Restoration Shamans gain access to Seasoned Winds, Static Field Totem, as well as the new PvP talent of Rain Dance, which makes Healing Rain an instant cast, 20% more effective and costs 30% less mana. Elemental Shamans gain the new PvP talent of Volcanic Surge. Volcanic Surge replaces Lava Surge, where Flame Shock procs reduce the cast time of Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning. Volcanic Surge also increases the damage of Lava Burst, Lightning Bolt, and Chain Lightning. Enhancement Shamans gain Storm Weaver. Consuming your Maelstrom on a damaging spell causes your next Healing Surge or Chain Heal to gain full benefits of Maelstrom weapon based on the amount of stacks consumed. Warlocks gain a new PvP talent of Impish Instincts. Taking physical damage reduces the cooldown of Demonic Circle by 2 seconds, with this effect occurring every 5 seconds. Soul Rip causes you to fracture souls from nearby targets, reducing their damage and healing for 8 seconds. Enemies can go to retrieve their souls to remove this effect early. Call Observer health, range, and damage has been significantly improved, with its cooldown decreased down to 1 minute. Affliction Warlock's rapid contagion duration has been reduced, but its damage over time ramp has been increased to 45%. Demonology Warlock Master Summoner talent has been redesigned. The cast time of Called Dreadstalkers, Summon Vile Fiend, and Summon Tyrant has been reduced by 20%. Call Fell Lord no longer costs a Soul Shard. Its damage has been increased by 30%, and its frequency of attack has been increased by 50%. The Warrior PvP talent of Rebound has been redesigned. Spell Reflect rebounds up to 2 incoming spell casts, and the reflected spell effect deals 50% additional damage. Spell Reflect's cooldown is increased by 10 seconds. Fury Warrior's talent of Death Wish has a shorter cooldown. Each stack of Death Wish increases damage done and taken by 10%, and the maximum stacks has been reduced down to 5. Fury Warriors have had their talent of Enduring Rage redesigned. Movement impairing effects have a chance to enrage you each second that they are active. While enraged, a loss of control effect has a chance to grant you recklessness for 4 seconds after the effect fades. Protection Warrior's PvP talent of Shield Bash has been redesigned. When shield slamming a target mid-cast, you reset the cooldown of Shield Slam and reduce the target's damage done by 15% for 8 seconds. And for now, that's going to be the full list of class changes arriving with the patch 10.1. And we are likely to continue seeing even more class updates over the next few weeks with the launch of Embers of Neltharion. As per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single video and live stream, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video or hang out with the rest of the community to discuss some of the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.